Welcome to Behind the Scenes, coming to you from the Engineers Australia Awards in Hobart, where we celebrate the best in the business. We're recording from Nipaluna, Hobart, on the traditional lands of the Muwinina people, and we acknowledge the Tasmanian Aboriginal people and their connection to culture and country. We're here at the Engineer Australia Awards in Hobart, Tasmania, and I'm joined by Entura's Director of Hydropower and Headworks, Dale Bryce. Dale, welcome.
Great to be here.
Dale, I've just given your title, but who are you?
And what am I doing here?
Yeah, that too.
Well, so I think what I do is work with a lot of really smart people and try and help them to power through some of the amazing things that we're doing together, like renewables and storage projects across Tassie, across Australia and into the Indo-Pacific region.
The Hydropower and Headworks group, what do they do?
So it is partly in the name, so hydropower and everything that means, from turbines through to all the structures around that, but also the Headworks bit is really about dams. So often I'll call myself Director Hydropower and Dams to help people understand what that really is. So obviously with hydropower you need to put the water somewhere, and it's normally behind a dam.
And how long have you been at Entura now?
I've just celebrated my 10th anniversary.
Congratulations.
So thank you very much. And lots to do still, but I think together we've achieved a lot over that short time.
So I want to take a few steps back, if I may, and learn a bit more about your history.
Yeah.
Have you always been in the energy industry?
No. Depending on how far we want to go back, I've worked with lawyers. I've worked with in large multidisciplinary, multi-geography engineering and delivery firms, and now we call this a specialist power and water engineering firm. So, you know, what's the thread that runs through all of that? It's very much working with super smart people who've qualified in a particular thing, and I help them with commercial sides of their business and dealing with clients and helping people with stuff that they either not necessarily comfortable doing or would rather do something else.
And did you come into the business in the position you're in now?
I started as the director, strategy, sales and marketing, and so really what the first thing that they asked me to do was to set up a client insights program, which was to go out and talk to clients. And often we can survey clients and get numbers, but the most powerful thing I've found is to get that qualitative information, the words that clients give us, to change the behaviour or help technical people understand how they can be even better with their jobs. So, for instance, one that I really remember well is talking to one of our great clients, Genex Power, who are running the Kidston pump storage project, and the one thing that they said about us that sticks in my mind is that we're not a bunch of Sydney suits. And that's always stuck with me, and that's come out of the mouth of a client.
So the transition then from that role into the Hydropower and Headworks group, how did that transpire?
Well, a couple of steps. The first step was I went into a very blatantly commercial and delivery role, so very much working on improving the delivery of projects. And at that time, we were doing about 1,000 projects a year of various sizes, and we're trying to make sure that we were delivering well. So when we talk to clients and work with clients, we really want to be focused on our responsiveness, our reliability, our capability and trustworthiness. And so there was that element of client empathy that I hope I brought, but we needed to also be more commercial, so our clients and us were all winning together out of the work that we were doing together. So that was really what was the first step. The second step was working with the water and renewables group, and again, more project management, more project direction. And then the move into Hydropower and Headworks is really about the bigger, more complex projects In many ways, I think I'm a coach on projects.
Yeah, so I just want to draw out the complicated and complex nature of hydropower projects and the increasing importance of hydropower, but also pumped hydro within Australia and the rest of the world generally. How have you seen the change in that industry over the last, say, 10 years?
Again, what you learn from clients is what's going on in the market and what they want us to do for them and with them. So again, I go back, it's almost 8 years ago, Tammy Chu, Richard Huwainen and I walked up the steps in Sydney to talk to Genex Power, and they taught me about this thing called storage and why it was important to have storage in a market in Australia at the time, but increasingly everywhere else, where there's increased renewables penetration. So we've all heard the stories around the need for storage when the sun doesn't shine and the wind doesn't blow. These guys picked that a long time ago. And so we learnt from them, worked with them. We're now, the owner's engineer on their project at Kidston, which will be the first pump storage project delivered in Australia for the last 40 years. We learn a lot. We bring that home to Hydro Tasmania, where obviously with the Batch of the Nation, there's a lot of that thinking that's going into that. And then you boomerang back out again to places like India and Southeast Asia, where they're now seeing the same sort of things: increased renewables penetration, increased need for storage, and the opportunities that pump storage brings to economies and to energy grids and interconnection. So the complexity of all of that is trying to understand where pump storage, where these projects fit in the market, and no longer can you just have a pure renewables play. It has to be with storage of some sort, chemical to start with, and we think deep storage in the form of pump storage, 8, 12, 24 hours is what's going to be required.
You mentioned there India, and we've got a wonderful crew in India that we work really closely with, and I know you're deeply involved with. So talk me through a little bit about how India integrates with our Australian office and the work that they're doing around the globe.
We've had an office in New Delhi since 2006, and it was really established to start with as a hydropower centre of excellence. And we were exporting our know-how out of Hydro Tasmania to start with in the hydropower space through India. And now that know-how that's been developed in India is coming back, but also we're working in India in doing pump storage screening, working in places like Bhutan, Nepal, now investigating again work along the Mekong with Vietnam, Laos. These are all places where hydropower has existed, and we've done good, sustainable work in those places. But as I said before, they're now seeing the increasing importance of storage in energy markets where renewable take off. No one can stop that, but you've got to support it with storage. And so our know-how across the Indo-Pacific is really valuable here and there, and across into the Pacific as well as in the Indo region.
When we want to bring someone into each other.
Well, let me just say, how lucky am I? I get to play with some of the smartest people that I know every day across 13 areas of practice in renewables and storage. And who wouldn't want to do that at this time? So what are we looking at? Well, there's a values set up. Why would you like to work in renewables and storage as opposed to some of the other things that you could do in as an engineer? I often think that, weapons of mass destruction or renewables. I made the choice to go in the renewables direction, and so there's a values base. There's you've got to be really turned on by hard challenges, and you've got to be able to collaborate. Gone are the days when one person has all the ideas. So for us, our projects are more often than not multidisciplinary. You've got to work with people from all sorts of areas: electrical, civil, mechanical. All these experts are working together for a often unique new solution for clients. We're looking for people who are stimulated by that.
There's been a big evolution, as we've just talked about, in the hydropower industry over the last 10 years. What do you think is going to happen over the next 10 years?
I think it's just going to accelerate. So, as I said, 8 years ago, that conversation I had with the Gen X team was new to me. It was new to many of us in Australia, but it's now normal. And we're building those projects now. It takes some time to go from zero to a working project, so that's quite interesting. What I'm sensing, and I'm very lucky to be able to travel through, to India and other places. They are going to catch up to where we were, and they're going to overtake us with the size. So we are looking at projects in southern India that are 2,000 megawatts in storage and capacity. Really interesting work. And part of that is hydrogen production. So green hydrogen is, we all know, that's being talked about. They're almost on the cusp of it, and when we do get ready to produce green hydrogen, you're going to need something like 2,000 megawatt capacity. And in southern India, we're working with clients to start thinking about that, and the market will tell us when they're ready to build those things.
Fantastic. Dale, thank you for your time today. Thank you for taking time out of this wonderful awards night to have a chat with us, and I'll let you go and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Dale. Thank you for joining us on this insightful journey behind the scenes at Entura. We hope you've gained valuable insights into the incredible individuals driving sustainable innovation. If you've enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Stay tuned for more inspiring conversations as we continue to explore the people and stories shaping our sustainable future. Connect with us on LinkedIn and Facebook, and find out more about the work we do at entura.com.au. Until next time, this is Mark signing off from Entura's Behind the Scenes, where sustainability meets inspiration.